Hello, I am Mudi Wangom and this is N24 News Hour coming to you live from our studio in Bakau, the Gambia, adjacent the Independence Stadium. Coming up, the Gambia's First Lady Fatoumata Barrow assures support to victims to end suffering of gender-based violence during a gathering on the 16 days activism against gender-based violence. 5 Fonyi National Assembly members called on President Barrow to immediately remove Senegalese soldiers stationed in Fonyi during a press conference. In sports, in the ongoing FIFA 2022 World Cup, FIFA opens disciplinary proceedings against Uruguay Football Association and 4 of their players. On the international front, South Africa's President Ramaphosa has challenged a corruption report in court. These plus many more interesting stories to feature in today's bulletin. Stay tuned. Thank you for the time, and if you're just joining us, this is N24 News Hour. We start the bulletin with President Adama Barrow appealing to drivers, commuters and natives of URR protesting the introduction of toll fees at the Basse Bridge to understand that paying a toll to cross a bridge is a normal practice in all developed countries to help the upkeep and maintenance of the infrastructure and help government with needed revenue to provide development. The introduction of a toll fee at the Chinese-funded Samba Juma Bridge 1 year after its inauguration has caused a stir amongst drivers and commuters, with some resorting to using canoes to cross the river. While addressing a meeting in Wooli and Sandu during his Meet the People tour, President Barrow, who is also a native of URR, said he does not believe any Gambian would be reluctant to sacrifice $50 to the government to help it develop the country and improve the lives of citizens. Gender-based violence is any act of violence that results to physical, sexual or mental harm, as the Ministry of Gender holds the end of a 16-day activism against gender-based violence, an annual campaign that began on the 25th November 2022. The celebration held at Westfield Monument saw a march past amongst other activities. Our reporter, our MCC, attended it and she filed in this report.
5 sitting National Assembly members from different administrative areas in Fonyi with other stakeholders respectively call on government to immediately remove Senegalese soldiers stationed at their borders and any checkpoints within Fonyi in replace of Gambia Armed Forces personnel. The 5 parliamentarians expressed their burning issues and claimed injustice treatment of Fonyikas since 2017. This happened during a press conference at Kampat village in Fonyi West Coast region. Almame Jiba, National Assembly member for Fonyi Kansala, read the petition on behalf of his honorable members, which include the alleged killing of innocent people, unfair treatment, and wrongful dismissal.
Excellency President Adama Barrow, Commander-in-Chief of the Gambia Armed Forces, petition demand for the immediate removal of economic Senegalese troops in Fonyi's West Coast region. Your Excellency, we remain deeply concerned about the occupants of Senegalese soldiers in the Fonyi region, which continue to manifest clear actions of violence, aggression leading to injuries, death, property damage, destructions in the Fonyi natives by the Senegalese economic soldiers.
Alcalo of Ndembajola in Fonyi Berefet, Molamin Seni Baji, also expressed his concern about the presence of economic soldiers around Fonyi.
We share the national cake equally. What we have seen here is we are not treated properly. We are not treated equally. The reason saying that is Gambia entirely is not being represented by any forces or whatever, economic or whatever, but particularly they're here in Fonyi. That's a question mark. Why being in Fonyi? If they are to be in the Gambia to create a platform of peace, they should be in the Gambia entirely. This is what we're saying. It should have been. It should not be fair enough for them to only be in the 4 years.
The fear and panic among Fonyinkers come as a result of fight between Senegal's armed forces and MFDC rebels of Casamance region of Senegal, which has displaced lots of people living around the border, causing insecurity. The five honorable conclude that the petition will be shared to different institutions, starting from the Ministry of Interior, Supreme Islamic Council, the Christian Community, Chief of Defense Staff, Gambia Press Union, and the like. For N24 News, I am Amicha.
National Assembly members for Fonyi Jarol, Tumanding Sane, Almami Jiba of Fonyi Kansala, Amikoli of Fonyi Berefet, Padembo Sane of Fonyi Bondali, and Bakari Baji of Fonyi Bintankarani have all urged President Barrow to remove Senegalese soldiers stationed at the border side to be replaced by Gambia Armed Force personnel. They claim the people of Fonyi have been unjustly treated since 2017 as they disclosed this during a press conference held in Fonyi. Our reporter Ami Cham travelled to Fonyi to attend the presser and filed in this report.
The 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence is an annual campaign that began on the 25th November, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and run through International Human Rights Day on the 10th December. This year's theme is Unite Activism. The campaign is supported by the United States through the Secretary General Unite by 2030 to end violation. Speaking at the gathering, First Lady of the Republic of the Gambia, Fatoumata Babaro, assured that her office will give support to victims of gender-based violence.
Everywhere around the world, as women and men in leadership positions, we need to come together, stand firm and support each other, as the very survival of millions of voiceless women and girls depend on it. Let us unite to end gender-based violence against women and girls.
Addressing the escalation of violence against women and girls, Honorable Fatou Kinte, Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, called on all Gambians to show love to each other, as that she said will maintain peace.
Women and girls, I wish to remind you of the fact that violence against women and girls is preventable. I therefore encourage you to continue to mobilize and speak up against it as survivors, activists, feminists, and active citizens of this country. I encourage all of you to join us in this campaign to respond, prevent, and end violence against women and girls. Let us always love each other and maintain peace at all times.
Meanwhile, United Nations Resident Coordinator to the Gambia, Ms. Sarifin Wakana, said the fight against gender-based violence will be a continuous process.
The fight against gender-based violence should be continuous. This is my message again. It's not for the 16 days only. We want to keep it throughout the year. We want to remain vigilant. We want to be acting every day so that together we can have impact on what we want to achieve. Because so far, not only in the Gambia, but in every country, gender-based violence is still predominant, and we are looking for how can we address these issues.
She added, the UN will continue to support gender-based violence on both financial and technical aspects, including those with disabilities. World Health Organization, violence against women is defined as any act of gender-based violence that results in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, or mental health or suffering to women. In 2015, a law passed through an act of National Assembly to amend the Women's Act 2010 to cater for an anti-FGM legal provision. This was referred to as Women's Amendment Act in 2015. Reporting for N24, I am our MCC.
Fighting against an addictive substance seems to be the hardest, especially tobacco products, despite having the laws in place. The Ministry of Health held a press briefing regarding their attempts on stopping these tobacco products and what is next since they started their fight. Here is more on this report by our reporter Mariama Sisaho.
Tobacco is the only legal substance that causes harm, and it contains 7,000 different chemicals. The Non-Communicable Disease (NCD) under the Unit of Directorate of Health Promotion and Education had a press briefing with the media about their one-year program of fighting tobacco in the Gambia, which has been extended to another year due to their excellent job. Omar Baji, the NCD program manager and national tobacco control person, sheds light on the three main points of the project.
That is the smoke-free laws, meaning one should not smoke in the presence of another person. And also you should not display the tobacco product. Even at your shop, you should not display it. And a sale of single stick is banned, meaning you should always sell a packet. And the packet that should come to the country should be 20 sticks, only 20 sticks. And all the packets should have graphic health design, that is graphic health warning and health messages. Before we used to have cigarette that is only written tobacco kills.
He explains that how Caesar is even much more dangerous than tobacco.
Caesar with different flavors, and so that they can attract young ones, especially girls. And they've succeeded, I can say, because in many countries this is a problem. You see young girls smoking Caesar and they take it as a pride, and they influence each other to engage in Caesar smoking. Any small corner you go to, you see people not knowing that it has dangerous chemical, even more than the cigarette.
And that lot of Caesar flavors and Caesar stands were seized in some places. There are rules put in place to see that the use of tobacco is reduced in the Gambia, such as moving 100 meters from the public to smoke, tobacco will not be advertised on any media outlet, kids are not to be sent for tobacco. Fighting tobacco is a collective responsibility, and if anyone finds someone smoking beside him or her, then the person should take them to the nearest police station. Reporting for N24, I am Mariama Sissaho.
And away from that story, now time for some sports. FIFA has opened disciplinary proceedings against Uruguay's Football Association and 4 players over their conduct at the end of their final World Cup group game against Ghana. Uruguay beat Ghana 2-0 but went out on goals scored, finishing 3rd behind South Korea in Group H. Uruguay's players reacted furiously at full-time, confronting the referee and appearing to manhandle an assistant after they failed to award a penalty after a coming together between Darwin Nunez and Seydou. Jose Maria Jimenez, Edinson Cavani, Fernando Muslera and Diego Godin all face potential punishment for breaches of FIFA disciplinary code relating to offensive behavior and misconduct. The Uruguayan Football Association faces action for the same breaches of the code, as well as another relating to discrimination. Valencia forward Cavani was filmed pushing over the pitch side monitor as he walked down the tunnel after the match, after which ITV pundit Ian Wright called him a horrible guy. FIFA has also opened proceedings against Serbia's Football Association relating to incidents during their 3-2 defeat by Switzerland in their final Group G game. Football's world governing body has not specified the incidents, but fans were told during the match to stop all discriminatory chants and gestures. Serbia were already under investigation by FIFA after the team hung a controversial flag depicting Kosovo in their dressing room before their defeat by Brazil earlier in the tournament. That's all for sports, but from sports, we now look at the latest happenings of the internationals right after this. Do stay tuned. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has officially filed court papers to have a report which found he may have violated the country's constitution reviewed. Mr. Ramaphosa wants the Constitutional Court to declare the findings of the panel unlawful and to set them aside. He further stated that the panel went beyond its scope while looking at whether he had a case to answer to related to a robbery at his Fala Fala farm. In the papers, the president is also asking the court to declare that any steps taken by Parliament on the back of the release of the report are to be declared unlawful and invalid. The report is due to be debated by members of Parliament on Tuesday. Opposition party leaders have said they will use the opportunity to call for the establishment of a committee to look into the impeachment of the president. And from that story, we say goodbye, as this is the end of today's bulletin, but do stay tuned to your favorite N24RTV.